March last year, I got myself a 150-500mm lens with the goal of starting to shoot wildlife.
Trying to keep my head up every day. Everybody has something to say. I'll just keep on dancing till the world falls through the cracks like that. 'Cause I never get the time back.
Why did I decide to start in wildlife? Couple of reasons. I have been shooting landscapes non-stop for over 5 years. Although I always love and keep shooting landscapes, I wanted a new challenge. Also, in 2024, I enrolled myself in a course to learn a new thing. And this course demanded a lot of time, so I didn't have much time to go on trips or even weekend getaways. And for landscape photography, it's more exciting when we explore new places. Or in my case, I like to take photos of the same place at night, but with restricted time available, this becomes increasingly difficult. I have photographed almost every corner of Vancouver, and I was getting very little motivation to get out to shoot the same location I have shot many times before. So wildlife photography wouldn't have come in a more appropriate time. I always wanted to try, and I love animals so much. I find the process of getting a wildlife photo so fascinating. And the thing is, for wildlife, you don't really need to go far away. I can go on an evening stroll and photograph a lot of different birds, squirrels, raccoons, and coyotes because they all live in the city. So let's go back a little bit to the lens. I went for this lens because it's not a huge lens, it's somewhat compact and not too heavy. Price was a decisive factor for sure. In terms of sharpness of this lens, it's not the sharpest lens you're gonna find in the market. Sony lenses are way sharper, but for the price, I think it's worth it to lose a little bit of sharpness. And if you were just starting out, I think this is a great lens to start. So here are some of my takes in 1 year photographing wildlife. It was very hard at the beginning. I was not used to a lens so big and heavier than the ones I used for landscape. I struggled a lot at the beginning with camera setup, the right shutter speed to not get blurry subjects, the focus type I should be using, how to actually find the subject, mainly when in 500mm. So now I feel I'm at that stage where I know the setup already by heart, so I know when it's a small bird what shutter speed to use, or when it's getting dark how much ISO and shutter speed is worth using. Things I'm working on now to improve is composition, not only to get the shot of a bird with a perfectly clear image, but with a meaningful composition, because it's the composition that will set your photo apart from the others. And I feel I still struggle to shoot birds in flight, especially small birds. And I want to get good at it because I want to shoot hummingbirds and I love them. But I have a feeling that I think even for experienced photographers, it's hard to photograph birds in flight, especially when they are tiny. These are some recent shots I got of hummingbirds. After much trial and error and coming back to this place multiple times, I noticed that if I wanted to get a shot of them in flight, the best chance was when they were feeding at this feeder. Sometimes they let go and hover nearby, That's when I found the best moment to shoot. Then later, in post-processing, I cropped the feeder out of the frame. So I talked a little bit about the technical side of wildlife photography, and I want to talk now about the non-technical side. Wildlife photography is so good for practicing being in the present. I feel this is not a thing exclusively to wildlife, it's the same in landscape. For me, it's so nice to wait for an animal to show up, and then after much waiting, the animal just shows up and you have that dopamine hit, and even more so when you get a good shot. This is exactly what happened last fall when we photographed these bears. We were waiting hours for them, and it was almost dark, and 2 bears popped up, and I got these shots. It was super dark when I got these photos, and my lens, the max aperture is 5 when it's in 150 and 6.7 when it's in 500. And the bears were kind of far where we were, so I was in almost 500, so it was super dark. I had to bump the ISO, and I think it's worth it to bump the ISO. It was super noisy, but with the post-processing and with the denoise, I think I had a decent shot. It was so cool to see them getting the salmon from the creek, and one thing I did when I realized it was too dark for photos, I recorded some videos, because videos you have the shutter speed lower, so you get more light in, so I got a couple of videos. You learn so much about wildlife, bird species, their behaviors, what time they are more active, what they like to eat, where they migrate to, and specifics about their ecosystem. So I think this is fascinating to learn, and you need to learn this if you want to get a good shot of them. It's like a whole new world that opens up to you. Now, when I go on my daily walks, I notice all the birds around me. I try to know which species by their sound. And one thing I love in wildlife is to go to some places where I know I will see some wildlife, but sometimes I'm surprised by an appearance of an animal I was not expecting to see. Like on this day, when I was in a place looking for a bird, and then I started hearing a weird noise. And when I looked at a bush at my side, there was a beaver chewing a plant. So overall, I can say I'm loving to shoot wildlife, and if I have to choose the best experiences I had so far, I'll choose the Atlantic puffins in Newfoundland and the bears eating salmon in last fall, which was incredible. And that was my overview of 1 year of shooting wildlife. If you are thinking about trying it out, I highly recommend it. But be advised that it can be highly addictive, and it can also result in spending lots of money with huge lenses.